The United States national debt will never be paid off, and we are currently racking up another $1 trillion of national debt roughly every 100 to 120 days. We've also just surpassed a very grim milestone, which I will be bringing to your attention here in this video, because as a United States citizen, you deserve to know this information and where your hard-earned tax dollars are actually going. I can give you a little hint. They're going right into a metaphorical bonfire. So I'll shake it all out for you here in the video and let you know what all this means and why we are racking up so much debt right now, and what is also contributing to this, because some major policy changes here over the last couple of years have also contributed to this. So let's get into it and talk through the details. First off, can I ask a huge favor of you? Please make sure to like the video with the big thumbs up button down below. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel as well with the big subscribe button right down below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. And let's get into it and talk about this. All right, so as of right now, we are well over $35 trillion of national debt. But get this, just a couple months ago, we surpassed $35 trillion. As of right now, we are marching toward $36 trillion very rapidly. Like I said, roughly every about 3.5 to 4 months or so, we tack on another $1 trillion of national debt. That is craziness. Have you seen, by the way, the calculator, or basically the little tally that shows national debt racking up? You can see it going up in real time. It's nuts. Billions and billions of dollars a day of our tax dollars literally just being lit on fire. It's craziness, and it's honestly kind of sad to think about our kids, our grandkids, people like that. They'll have to pay all this someday. And again, here's the thing. The national debt at this point, it's not getting paid back, ever. That 35 trillion, nearly 36 trillion that we're currently sitting on right now, that's never getting paid back. So any politician, any presidential hopeful, any presidential elect, anybody that comes out and says, hey, we're going to pay down the national debt, false. Not happening. Never, ever will that happen. Okay? Now, here's the thing. We just have to be realistic. And again, I say this all the time. I'm going to give it to you straight every single time in these videos. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke. I think we all know better than to think every politician tells us they're going to pay down the national debt. No, they don't. All they do is rack up more debt. But the sad part about it is because, like I said, our kids, our grandkids are going to be basically saddled with all this. In other words, they're going to have to pay this somehow, some way. That means higher taxation, cost of living is going to be higher, everything is going to come back on them. It doesn't mean that they're going to get a bill for like $200,000 and say, everybody pay 200 grand, we'll pay this whole thing off. No, that's not how it's going to be. But it's just going to be basically, it's going to come out of our finances somehow, because they have to be able to, support this in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I mean by all this, is that, at some point it has to be kind of paid, in some form. But anyway, get this. So right now in the United States, we spend about $900 billion, give or take a little bit each year on defense, right? So that's kind of like the defense spending here in the United States is about $900 billion, give or take a little bit. So just shy of $1 trillion is what they spend on military, stuff like that, defending our country, or being readiness, to help us out, whatever way you possibly can, stuff like that. Good. Again, it's all mixed opinions out there. There's a lot of controversy about it, but I feel like, hey, if you got to spend nearly $1 trillion to defend our country and defend our you citizens, everything we have here, by all means do it. If we need to spend $2 trillion, then do it. I feel like we got to do what we got to do here. We got to protect ourselves. So, but at the end of the day, here is the shocking part about this. We are now spending more right now, right here, right now. We are spending more in interest payments than we are to defend our country. How pathetic is that? I'm just going to say that. That is absolutely 100% pathetic. And for those people that have served our country at some point in the past or currently active, whatever it happens to be, I feel like that's a massive disgrace to these individuals that have sacrificed their lives, their livelihoods, their families, and stuff like this to defend our country, only to find out we're blowing $1 trillion a year on interest, and we're not even spending that on defending our country that they've spent so much of their time, their lives, their livelihoods, things like that, fighting for. I don't know. To me, that sounds craziness, right? So we're literally burning $1 trillion a year right now in interest. That's craziness, okay? And it's only going to get worse. Now, how did we get here? I think a lot of us can ask this question. How the you know what I'm about to say. Did we get here? You know what I mean? I think we all want to ask this question. How did we possibly do this? Well, I mean, there's a lot of fingers we could point right now. There's no point in pointing fingers. I don't believe in that. Why? What is the point of pointing fingers? But what we need to know is that just a ton of spending on everything has gotten us to this point, and basically not paying any of this down over a course of time, and just continuously just spending on all kinds of different things. And has a lot of that come back to the United States? Well, kind of depends, right? There's a lot of mixed opinions there as well, but there's a lot of things that have just yielded really no return to the United States or the citizens of this country, just billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. And then here we go, we put it onto the national debt, and basically it has no return, right? We have to look at it this way as well. Think of return on investment. You have $10, you invest $10, and you get back $11. Nice, you got a 10% rate of return, right? Not bad. Not bad. I mean, seriously, it's only $10, but you still got a 10% return. The same thing goes here. We spend hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars on all kinds of different things, and we get literally no return back. That's a bad investment, right? I mean, seriously, if we're going to spend this much money, we should at least get some kind of return back to our country, to the people, to the economy, some way, some shape, somehow, a return on our investment, right? So anyway, I guess that's what I look at anyway. Apparently, they don't look at this stuff. But anyway, here's something else that has exacerbated this situation. Remember, back in March of 2022, the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates. And for about, a year and a half or so, they raised interest rates aggressively up to the highest levels that we've seen in about 20 plus years, okay? And they've been holding rates very high and very steady, right? Well, obviously, this is changing a little bit as of right now, but you get my point here. Rates are still very, very high. But even though they have raised these interest rates very high, this is also causing the government to pay more interest on the money that they're borrowing. Right? So the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates and is costing the government more on the debt that they're carrying. Yeah, that's real smart. Yeah, brainiac idea there, right? So obviously, don't get me wrong, I do believe that the interest rate increases were probably pretty good as an effort to bring down the inflation. I totally get that, but it's kind of like they did it to themselves, right? They're like, hey, let's jack up interest rates, let's raise them up, and then they're like, oh, wait, that means we have to pay more. Oh, man, that was dumb. Yeah, real smart, right? So anyway, but obviously, yes, I do get it. They had to raise interest rates to bring down some of this inflation because it's been nuts over the last couple of years, and that was the whole effort behind that, is raise interest rates. But again, remember, that raises interest rates on everybody, government included, right? So kind of interesting how that whole thing works. But that is kind of why we're at this situation now, is that we've racked up so much national debt right now, rapidly approaching that $36 trillion. And before the end of the year, we will absolutely 100% smack that $36 trillion. Probably well beyond that, right? We still have a few months to go here, and we're marching right toward that $36 trillion. So we will for sure exceed $36 trillion before the end of the year, which is scary to think about, right? But this is kind of where we're at right now. So anybody, I just want to throw this out there, and again, I'm not taking political sides here in this video whatsoever. Everybody says this. Oh, we're going to work to pay down the national debt. That is such a dumb statement, okay? That is so uneducated for anybody to say that we're going to pay down the national debt. They're not going to at all. They have no intentions to. If they did, they would have been working on it, I don't know, 50 years ago when this whole thing started. I mean, it was more than 50 years ago, but you get my point here, right? They would have been working on this years ago. They've done nothing to try to pay down the national debt because that is not their concern. They don't have any money. The government is broke, 100% broke. They run deficits every single year, okay? The deficits are usually I think it's 2.1 or something trillion a year right now, I think it's at. It's changing all the time, but it's about $2+ trillion a year of the deficit. In other words, their income / expense ratio is negative, okay? They have more expenses going out in the form of payments and liabilities and interest, and all their liabilities outstrip their income, right? That is the equation for massive debt. and default. Okay, that's just not working. So for the government, it's okay. But if it were you and me, that's called bankruptcy. Okay, if you or me were to do that, that would be called filing bankrupt. That's literally what that is, right? You can't do that very long before we are completely bankrupt, and that's what happens. But the government can do it, we can't as individuals. Funny how that works, right? That's called a double standard, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there, just in case we wanted to, in case you wanted to check any of that. So, anyway, I wanted to share this with you. Anytime I come across information like this, I feel like, you know what? It is your duty to know this information. As a United States citizen, I feel like it's only fair for you to know this, where your money is going. Well, they're literally shoveling it into a bonfire as fast as they possibly can, and that's where your money's going. So, obviously, a metaphorical bonfire. Please do not burn money. That is, I'm pretty sure that's illegal in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Never done it. I'd have no reason to do that, but I'm simply saying don't do it, okay? So anyway, hope this helps you. Again, please have a nice day. Subscribe down below. Like the video. Thumbs up button down below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel. Nearly 5,000 videos in the video library. I've hand-selected some very popular videos for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now, showing up on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you again in just a minute.